Calling the meeting to order at 4:33 p.m. And we have a quorum, so we're going. There is no public input. We'll move right to minutes. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes of 3/25/21, of the board meeting.
So moved, Tom Craig.
Second, Gina.
Seconded by Gina. Questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Juan, did you raise your hand? 6, good, thank you.
Hold on, I'm bring Chris on right now. So,
I'm sorry, say it again.
hey, Chris is coming on right now.
Oh, okay, good. Well, we got him in. We got enough to pass the minutes. Let's go to the executive director's report. Hello, Chris.
Hello, how are you? Good afternoon.
Okay, good evening, everybody. My report for this meeting is as follows. So we broke ground on phase 1 on April 5th. CB Utilities had a slight change in their approach to the project. They started within the parking lot at Citizens Bank, and they could be working back through Village Green up towards Pawtucket Avenue. To date, they are through the parking lot. They've had a little more rock than they anticipated, so work is a little slower than anticipated, but to date, they've put in nearly 800 feet of pipe, a couple of valves, and an air release structure. On phase 2, they've started their survey work for the design, and we also had a productive meeting with some DOT officials, particularly with respect to the crossing of I-195. So I thought it was a very encouraging meeting. They said it'd be, a process involving federal highway, obviously, but they were very helpful. And then once we have 30% plans, we can forward those to DOT, and they will forward those to all their respective divisions for comments, as we proceed with the project. So that was a good meeting. As far as going through the monthly billing process, the finance team continues to work with the bank and billing company. They have weekly discussions on that, and the lockbox project is scheduled to be implemented at this coming May. And we have 6 data collectors operational, collecting at least 90% of the meters. There's been training on the new system. We are close to finalizing an additional location on a private property in downtown Bristol. And we'll also be adding another collector on the tank on Hope Street. So we'll be able to pick up even some more readings automatically. As far as the replacement for the finance director, that continues. We did have a first round of interviews. Let's let everybody know on that just recently. For the demolition project, Park continues to work on environmental and site assessments. They just recently forwarded a proposed site plan for our review for how the site will look for the future. And that's all important as part of the submission when it goes to DEM for the demolition due to the close location to wetlands. Water purchase is a little less than last month, but pretty steady. They provided the grass for your use. On the dam project, we're still on track for engineering to submit the applications by mid-May. We've also identified some additional grant opportunities for this project, and some pre-proposals have been submitted to 2 agencies, National Fish and Wildlife, and also Restore America's Estuaries Grant, which hopefully this project will rank high and we'll be able to get some additional grant funding for this work. Meter replacement program continues, particularly with the better weather. 73 new meters were installed last month. So over 94% of the system have new meters. And I have a breakdown for your information. The strategic plan was updated, received some comments from Director Martin and Director McDonald. Thank you very much. Those have been added to the plan. And there were no comments made on the implementation plan. So we can have some discussion at that during the meeting, at the agenda item. And if that's all set, we can move forward and post that on the website. We have started our spring hydrant flushing program. Working first in Barrington and then the next several weeks going through the system and ending at the end of the system in Bristol. All that work is done at night and information is posted on the local newspapers as well as the website. And then on my last item, I am proud to report to you all that once again, our hydrant team made up of Nick DeVoe and Trevor Souza took home the hardware and bragging rights for the New England Waterworks Association Hydrant Hysteria Competition.
Wow.
It was an impressive showing by the two of them. For the first time, Dave Da Silva this year stepped aside, but he served as their mentor and coach. But they did this in an unbelievable time of 1 minute and 22 seconds. They just blew away the other competitors. It was done remotely this year because of COVID. They performed the competition in the storage maintenance garage. It was all on video, and we were also able to watch the other teams compete. So in a non-COVID year, these guys would have been able to go compete at the national level. However, that is not going to be happening this year. So. But next year, hopefully they'll be able to get it done even faster, and we'll see what happens.
Great.
So congrats to Nick and Trevor.
How many years do we have to win it in a row to retire it?
Right? Okay, and we have reports, engineering reports from Sue. Sue, if you want to give how things are going on some other projects.
So the only project that is going right now is the cleaning and lining of Mount Hope Ave, because that was an addition to last year's contract. And we added it because the town did tell us that they are hoping to pave Mount Hope Ave. So they asked us to try to get that project in as soon as possible. So we added it to the contract and it's actually completed. The cleaning and lining portion of the work is done. They worked very quickly. They still have work, obviously, to replace hydrants and valves and, connect people back to the main. But the work itself went well. The pipe is now cleaned and it'll just be a few weeks before that project is finished. Walsh has also hired a paver to do the paving, the permanent paving for the project, the work that they did last year. So they were working on Hope Street this week in Bristol, Francisco paving. They have some more work in Bristol next week, and then they will do some work in Warren and complete out the paving for Warren. So those two projects, that work is ongoing. And as you'll see later in the agenda, we have finished with bidding for 2 contracts for this year, and those will get awarded hopefully later on tonight during the meeting. And that is it. So for today, yeah, there's not much work going on in those projects, obviously, yet.
Right, thank you, Sue. And Mike, his highlights of the operations report.
Not too much
Mike,
else.
you're there you go.
You got me?
Yep.
Not too much else going on other than what's already been touched upon. I included a table of work completed over the winter that touches upon some of the code-related repair type work. Renovations continue on the 2nd floor, and we're also looking to get going with our lift project with a pre-construction scheduled for next week. That's pretty much it. Then what's already been discussed, and included some photos of the Citizens Bank parking lot. Unfortunately, one of them is representative of some rock, which is, as Steve alluded to, is quite present in that general area. So we tried to identify as much rock up front through a boring program, but unfortunately, the borings can miss some of those underground conditions. So, but we're working through it. We have a bid item for it, and the contract is progressing as necessary. That's about it.
Thanks, Mike. Any board members have any questions on any other reports submitted?
The information technology report, anyone have questions on that? Okay, we're all set. Let's go on. Next item is a financial report. Mark?
Okay, I included in the packets a draft of basically the numbers that are being forwarded to the auditors. And we generally don't talk too much about that until they get through their work. So it's all in draft form, and I'm happy to report that they will be here Monday in person, which will be much better for us than the Zoom that took 3 or 4 weeks last year to get through. So I look forward to them coming. I'm ready. We're set up in the boardroom for them, and everything looks good. It was what I can say, the whole fiscal year was under COVID restrictions. So the COVID year, but we did, it was a record year for us across the board. So the numbers are good. We had a lot of people working from home, students working from home. They're using a lot more water, which was unexpected the year before. The other good news, the pension, we've done very well with the pension. We're up 21% since July. And basically our earnings have covered just about all the lump sum payments that went out were recovered in additional earnings. So when we have the pension review in July, I think we should be pretty close to 100% of where we should be. So that's good news.
Yes.
And if there's any other questions, anything you want to ask that was in that report, otherwise, I will actually have the March report for you in about a week. I've got just about all done too. So,
Any questions, anyone? I think it's great news. Oh, I'm sorry, Juan, go ahead. You're muted.
still muted.
Still muted, Juan. There you go.
There you go.
Well, only that easy to mute. Huh? In any case, is there any, if the revenues are up, and what do you, is there any sign of that? Go down.
I'm not here. I'm hearing a lot of static.
Please say it again, Juan.
I'm wondering if the usage is still at the same level as it has been over the last year where it's up. Do we see any drop?
No, the numbers coming in the last few months have shown them kind of dropping back as more people go back to work and the students go back to school. But it's probably too early to tell what's going to happen right now. But
Did not come today. No, I think you did it right the first time. You said she wasn't coming. Okay, any questions? Okay, thank you, Mark. Let's go to a board member town council reports. Anyone? Okay,
I just have a comment there, Alan.
sure.
Plan on trying at, not the next one, but the following council meeting to go forth, especially with the report on what's going to happen with the pump station and Metacom Avenue, to let them know. And that way, I think it'd get broadcast a lot more than just in the local paper.
Ah, okay. Is this something, Steve, would you want someone to come down or Sue to come down and tell them about it? Or you want written, what do you want to have for the council?
I believe if Steve would be very welcome to go and an intro to the council, but and once I set it up, I'll touch base with him. But it's and he did have a piece in the papers, going into the papers for that same thing, but to broadcast it more via, because a lot of people, I believe, watched at the council meeting. So I think it would be beneficial to us to get it out there to say, hey, this is going to start happening the next couple of months.
Sure. Steve, you have any problem with that?
Oh, not at all. That'd be good.
Great.
Is there any thought to a tri-town meeting in the near future? Or are we gonna wait till this damn information comes in a little more conclusive?
A tri-town meeting for
For us to try to get the three towns on board backing us with the dam proposals.
I wonder if, John, I wonder if the other two towns, other than Warren, are gonna be interested in it.
No, I don't know either. I
I mean,
don't.
I've
I'm
heard
gonna
nothing.
ask Chris if he got any satisfaction back yet on what he was trying to get for some kind of support from our council.
Chris, you're muted.
John,
Yeah, Bill.
I had a conversation with Kerry on April 2nd. First through a few emails, and then I spoke with her on the telephone. And I asked her if she would consider putting the dams item on the agenda. And she doesn't think there's a need to. What she did tell me is that based on the testimony, I think we had a meeting in February where the council was there.
Right.
Based on the testimony of Sue and Steve and DEM, Save the Bay, the engineers, she understands the circumstances that lead us to want to get rid of the dams. But that's as far as the council wants to go and needs to go. They really don't think that we need their support because the decision we're making is based on sound information.
That's pretty much what she gave me.
Yeah.
The impression she gave me.
Yeah. So in that regard, I don't see anything for involving Barrington and Bristol Town Councils, except just make them aware of what's going on, how we're spending the ratepayers' money, and why we're doing it.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is they don't want anything negative to stick to them.
Correct.
Right? And they don't want to get in the middle of it. That's
Right.
the absolute truth.
Right, right.
Yeah.
That's understandable.
We're in this position strangely because most of the deconstruction and reconstruction is going to take place within our borders.
Yeah.
Right next to us.
Yeah.
Well, let's sit tight.
Yep.
All right. Let's be ready to go to number 7, which is the Kikamoo Lower Dam Study Task Order Addendum 1.
Yeah, we move right into that. So at the February meeting, this task order was actually presented to the board, and for some reason, the request made was only for $20,000 when actually the request was for $72,000. And these are for additional out-of-scope items related to PAR's work associated with the dam removals. And a lot of it has to do with additional modeling, presentations made, and some additional public presentations that are going to have to be made going forward. So and I'm asking to make the request to amend what was approved of $20,000 to $72,000.
Do we want to a motion to amend it or to add an additional, just a new motion to add an additional 52,000?
However you get there, I guess.
Joe, is there a legal precedent, the smart way to do this? We already approved 20.
You already approved 20. No, it's an addendum. Just vote on the addendum.
Okay. So the addendum is the addendum to the task order is for $52,000. And I suppose in parentheses, we can note that this would be to correct an inadvertent error in the first motion.
Yes.
Motion to be approved.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion on this or questions?
Just to raise a point where that 20,000 may have come from. Task 204, coincidentally or not, was for $20,000. And that was to enable the completion of additional modeling and consultation during the progression of the permitting phase. So perhaps that was all that was brought to us at that time. Perhaps.
Yeah, that's where I believe it came from on.
Yeah. All right. So we got a motion on the floor for the extra 52. I see no further questions. All in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. And as the new members who've joined the board, George is not here today. I think he's had a second operation or finishing up a minor operation that he's taken care of. He had let me know that he wasn't coming.
Thank you.
Item 8 is the annual permanent paving contract.
So every year, BCWA goes out to bid for paving work. Estimated quantities are put together for bid purposes. The low bid in this case is JML Excavation for $182,700. However, they're only this contract's only charged for the actual items actually worked on. So.
Right. It's not a contract award. It's an award to do business as the projects require with the low bidder.
Right.
At the prices that he's indicated. Anyone would like to make a motion on that to approve it?
Move to approve.
All right, that's up to the $182,700, and it's to assign the projects to JML as the estimated total cost of $182,700 to be awarded as each job requires.
Second.
To that?
Second.
Okay, thank you. Further discussion?
Question.
Yes.
I realize, and I know I asked the last year, that amount was 130,000. Understand there's escalation on everything, but I think my real question would be, if we do not use all of the money that is earmarked for paving, similar to the next two items, how do we, where does that money go? I know it's in the bottom line as we do a budget, but when we get done, we have, I'm hoping we have extra.
It's unspent.
How does that, if it's not spent, but it's still in our budget, which we develop our rates on. So if it's not spent, how does it get corrected in the end?
Mark?
It's all part of the capital budget. Part of paving is also in the maintenance expenses, maintenance of mains and services is used there. But if it's not used, it remains in the residual of the reserves of the company. And a lot of times, if it's not used, especially the past year with COVID, a lot of the projects have rolled into the next year. So the money again would be appropriated over again, just not spent during that year.
What we're approving here is only monies that would be spent within the fiscal year that we're in.
Correct.
Okay.
At a rate as the projects unfold.
Right. We're really approving the rate that was a low bidder
Right,
with an uncertainty of how many projects we're going to use it on.
exactly. All right, so we ready to vote? I think so. All those in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good, thank you.
Alan, can I just ask
Yes,
Mike or Steve, just if we can expect that to kind of go down in the next few years with our purchase of the backhoes and the dump trucks? Some of that, or this is just for the paving?
just paving.
All right,
Yeah, this is just the paving. We normally contract this work. This is,
okay, I
this is
got
the
it.
finished work. We do the preliminary, the temporary type stuff, and then we contract out the finish.
I just overlooked that it was for paving.
Okay, this next one is maintenance and service work contract. And again, this is to JML. So look for a motion to approve JML excavation, the
So
annual
moved.
contract.
The amount of $244,710.
And that is the same conditions. It is not an award. It is an award to do business with that company as the projects require.
And this one, John, might be one.
That's the one I was should have asked the question
where
about.
we might be having some savings due to our own forces doing work. Last year, we spent with JML on these services was about $88,000.
Yeah, that's the one I should have asked the question about.
All right. So there is some impact from our own equipment. We ready to vote on this? Any other questions, comments? Everyone in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thank you. Next item is the water main improvement program. This is the stock materials. We do this every year, the same way. The note that I compiled that would go with this is for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bidders, that the bidder tabulation as a guide. As parts are required, they are to be ordered from the lowest of the 6 bidders at costs denoted on the tabulation in yellow. Is that legally clear enough?
Yes, I make a motion to be approved.
Second.
Okay, any other questions or comments? We do this every year the same way. All those in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is done. Thank you. Okay, high service area expansion and approval.
No, number 11.
Yeah, 10, do 10. I mean, yeah, 11.
Did I do something wrong?
Water main improvement.
We did. Yeah, water main improvement. This is number 11. Okay, any explanation needed on this?
This is indeed an actual contract for water main installation. It includes a water main on Smith Street in Bristol and a couple of small streets in Barrington. We had 3 bidders interested in the project. 2 of them put in bids, and the low bidder is JML Construction. And we're recommending that the project be awarded to them.
Thank you. So the motion should say $380,000, not to exceed $380,000.
Yes, right. So there's two votes, I believe. One is for the award to JML for $283,020, and the other is for the overall project budget.
Oh, okay. I guess we can do that. Let's take the first motion then for JML Construction, 283,020.
So moved.
It's moved
Second.
on and John, questions, comments?
Just to make this clear,
Yes,
we're making an award to JML Construction to do this project. And then there are other support services and a contingency that will be approved second.
yes, that's correct.
That contingency could be used towards the JML Construction Award.
That's true.
Okay, but it's a
It's
contingency.
true, that's unlikely. If extras come up in the project, we'll add them through bid items,
Okay.
most likely.
But will that require us to go back and adjust? It would require us to go back and adjust JML's
If we go over that amount. But,
right, if you go over the 283, even though we approved the next one, which allows,
Well, if we add additional work, substantial additional work, we'll come back to the board.
okay, but
If we were just to add a valve or some other small work, that we take that out of the contingency.
I guess what I'm saying is, but you would assume for the moment that JML uses up to $283.20. If there is additional money spent on the project, even if it is just a valve, a part, that's $49.50, but it's going to the project. Will that be paid for by JML Construction and us paying them to get this? I'm just worrying about whether we will need to come back and approve it later on for a minor adjustment.
For minor adjustments, no, but if we were going to significantly modify the scope, add bid items or add additional work to the project, we would. But for a valve or two or, minor extra linear footage of pipe, we would not if it was all included within the contingency.
Right.
That answer your question, John? Juan?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first motion is for 283 to JML. Those in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The second motion is for the contingency. That's inspection, police, contingency, and that is for $96,980.
So moved.
Total of 380 for a total of the project not to exceed $380,000.
You approve?
Second.
Okay, did we get that? Who was that? Chris made the motion?
Yep.
I seconded.
Okay, and Bob seconded it. Or Bill seconded it. Very good. Everyone raise your hand. Those in favor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Whoop, I missed somebody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I got it. Okay, good. Thank you. All right, 12. Number 12 is the high service area expansion and approval. This is the big contract.
This is a big contract. We had several contractors interested in this one. It's a bid tab here. I think it was 6 or 7 other contractors attended the pre-bid meeting. Only 2 ended up bidding on the project, but D'Ambra was the low bidder. We feel it's a good price. Car Engineering did a full check of D'Ambra Construction, although D'Ambra has worked for us in the past. In fact, they did the first phase of the Metacom Avenue work that was done in 2016, and they did the work well. So again, it's being recommended to award this contract to the low bidder, D'Ambra Construction. It involves quite a bit of 12-inch water main on Metacom Ave, some smaller mains on Maytom and Souza, and a valve in a vault on Michael Drive. But most of the work's in Metacom Ave. So the recommendation is to approve it to award it to D'Ambra.
We're going to do this the same way.
Right, there is a, an award to Deambra for the contract, for the construction work, and then there's a total project budget as well.
Very good.
Motion to approve the contract to Amber Construction for $1,456,576.80.
Is there a second?
Second.
Very good. Questions? Anyone? It's all been approved. It's all been recommended by Per and by Steve. Let's go for it. All those in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Done. The second one, we're adding $503,000, $423.20 for a not to exceed total of $1,960,000.
Motion to be approved.
Pardon?
Motion to be approved.
Good.
Second.
Any questions? This is the same as the last one. Let's do it. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is done.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Sure.
Sue, would it be possible to, once this is awarded, to get a very detailed schedule of how it's going to proceed?
We definitely will, and in fact, we have been holding off a little bit on releasing a lot of mailers and press releases. And now that we know we're awarded, we'll have the contractors in to start setting up a schedule, and so that we know which end they're going to start at, and you know where. We have been talking to the DPW in Bristol. They're well aware of all the projects, but obviously the actual construction dates will be important to them. So we will be definitely, as one of our first tasks will be to start working on the schedule.
Thank you.
Bob, and once we get that information and get that, we will we can meet with Bristol Town Council and go over, obviously, Metacom Avenue, high traffic area, whether Deambra is going to be tackling this job at night or during the day. So that's going to be some important information.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Other questions? Okay, we're on to the strategic plan update. You may recall, lady and gentlemen, that last month we saw this. People were invited to make additional comments or questions. And as reported in the notes by Steve, several comments have been received and incorporated within the document. So unless anyone has any additional items, I suppose we're ready to approve it. And I think we talked prior about once it's approved, that we should send the strategic plan, copies of that, to the town councils, so they know this is what we're up to.
Make a motion that it gets approved and sent forward to the councils.
Second.
Second, very good. Any questions? Additional comments? Away we go. Everyone in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Number 14. The notice of violation.
So we received this violation. It actually was from an event that happened
3 years ago.
during the pipe break. For treatment of the groundwater. It was during an emergency situation, but I had this item on for further discussion in executive session.
Fine, we'll do it then. We're next going to go into executive session. After that, Joe, do you think there will be any formal activity that we'll need to take other than sealing the minutes or anything like that?
There may be on that DEM violation, right, Steve?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say it's likely.
Okay, so it's possibly. We'll have to shut off people who aren't part of the board itself. And we'll entertain a motion to go into executive session at 5:13.
So
But
moved. So moved.
Second,
Okay, I think we have to say formally under Kickamuit Dam Removal, 42465A2, North Farm, 42465A2, North Farm, second item, 42465A2, Providence Water Supply Water Board docket, 42465A2, write-in notice of violation, 42465A2, and Hope Street lead issue, 42465A2. And employment issue, 42465A7, and to deal with the executive session minutes of 3/25/21. We're going into there at 5:14. Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're all in there. And please stop the recording and take a moment to clear the area. Thank you.
I will admit the member of the public again. Okay, she's back.
Okay, here we go. The item that we have on to deal with was item 14, and that was the notice of violation from DEM. I think there's a motion.
I make a motion that we pay the fine to DEM as agreed to by Steve, 6,000. I didn't remember the exact number.
250.
6,250.
Yes.
Motion, we pay 6,250 to the DEM.
I second that.
It is seconded. I think that it's safe to say that in all practicality, this is the simplest way to dispose of this. It was, however, an emergency situation, and it should be recorded in the minutes, I hope, that this was during the time when there was evidence of a leak and we didn't know where it was coming from, and we had to dig up the whole parking lot where our under the bay cross bay pipeline comes up and connects with a regular underground line. And so we had to jump on that. And the reason it only lasted 3 weeks is that we discovered that that wasn't where it was coming from. Ultimately, we found the leak 1,800 feet below. So it's a shame that they have to do this, but I guess we're guilty. So easy way out, 6,250. Those in favor, please raise your hand. It's unanimous. And now we want a motion to seal the, we need a motion to seal the minutes, or excuse me, to seal the executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Second, all those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. And now our next board meeting is on May 27th. If that changes, everybody will know about it. Motion to dissolve our meeting.
Well, are we meeting in person or on Zoom?
So for next scheduled meeting, I put a dash there for discussion because I know at the last meeting, there was some discussion as to, I know this and folks want to get back here and have a meeting in person finally. So that's up here for discussion, but a couple things to have in mind. I mean, I don't know who's been vaccinated, who hasn't. I can tell you that a lot of our managerial staff has, but this is a public meeting, and so we'd also have to be mindful of members of the public coming into the meeting and controlling that factor. Secondly, our lift is going to be out of service, and if we decide to meet in person, we are going to have to find an alternative location. So it'd be really my recommendation that we continue Zoom until we get the elevator fixed.
Let's do that. Let's stay on Zoom. By the way, how many of you have had 2 shots? Well, a bunch, not everybody. Well, almost. So let's still be safe. Let's still be safe. We'll do it Zoom at least one more time. Okay, the motion to dissolve the meeting.
So moved.
So moved to second. All those in favor say aye.
I,
Raise your hand. It is done. Thank you all.
be
Have
safe.
a safe week.